It's a country that's been ruled by one man for 21 years.
Another victory for Alexander Lukashenko in Belarus. Opposition parties boycotted the vote, saying it wasn't free and fair.
With an opposition that has sought to challenge him with bloody consequences. Presidential elections are just months away, and we're in the country of Belarus to gauge the mood. With Ukraine's conflict with Russia, people and politicians here are anxious.
What's happened in Ukraine has strengthened President Lukashenko's position in this country.
And after 3 years of asking for an interview, we finally sit down with Europe's last dictator. Could Belarus be the next Crimea? The Eastern European nation of Belarus became a country 25 years ago when the Soviet Union collapsed. It's wedged between the European Union and a resurgent Russia. For centuries, it's been a frontier between its larger and more powerful neighbors. Belarus is Russia's closest ally today, but over the last year has become concerned about its big brother.
Ethnically, culturally, Belarus is about as close as you can get to Mother Russia. The idea that Russia would come to Belarus using force is something that before the annexation of Crimea, it's hard for people to get their head around.
Belarus still feels like the Soviet Union. Not much has changed here over the last quarter century.
That right there is a monument to the founder of the KGB, and this, across the street, is the headquarters of Belarus's KGB. That's right, KGB. Belarus never changed the name.
Belarus also kept some of the KGB's methods. During the last presidential election, thousands demanded their leader step down. President Lukashenko fought back. There in the red jacket is one of the presidential candidates. As the polls closed, he was beaten, hospitalized, and thrown into a KGB cell, alongside 4 other presidential hopefuls. Today, Vladimir Nikolaev has given up on revolution.
When I got out of jail in 2010, I had one goal: to organize a Ukrainian-style revolution. But the situation in Ukraine has destroyed my plans.
He's more concerned about the very existence of Belarus than democratic reform.
The slightest attempt to carry out something that looks like a revolution here will lead to Russian intervention.
We're on our way to meet the president of Belarus. I last interviewed him 14 years ago, just after he won his second presidential election. He's now preparing for his 5th, and after 3 years of asking him for an interview, he's ready to talk.
We've been invited to his brand new Palace of Independence. I want to ask him if Russia's a threat.
There are a lot of people in Russia who think imperialistically, and they don't see Belarus as anything other than a northwestern province. Whoever comes to us with a sword will die from a sword.
The opposition to you says that Crimea is like a present to you, because people are now concerned, forget about Lukashenko, we're worried about having a country.
That is cynical. You know, we wouldn't lose our country because of Crimea. It's just that people in Belarus have begun to understand and value stability and peace above everything else.
One thing Belarus doesn't have is economic stability. The majority of Belarus's exports go to Russia.
This was one of the biggest tractor factories in all of the Soviet Union, and at least on the outside, Sure doesn't look like it's changed that much since then.
The tractor factory still employs close to 20,000 people. But with the sorry state of Russia's economy, there's little demand for its goods. Without cheap energy and the occasional bailout from Russia, Belarus would be belly up. Lukashenko's critics say that economic reliance is a creeping threat to their sovereignty. Russia's actions in Ukraine don't sit well with everyone here.
He's playing Europe quite well at the moment.
Tim Ash is a professor at Oxford. He gives the Belarusian view.
We don't want to be part of Vladimir Putin's imperial project, and by the way, we quite like being our own country. We've been here for a quarter century, and that's okay.
Patriotism is on the rise, especially among the young. We're at a concert where they're celebrating all things Belarusian, part of Belarus's growing sense of national identity. Meanwhile, Europe's last dictator is all but guaranteed to win this election and another 5 years in power. Ryan Chilcote, Bloomberg, Minsk.